I know. It feels like you would get more done and you'd be more productive and you'd be more on top of things if only you're better at time management. But I'm sorry to say, time management is not the problem. So today we're going to talk about what the problem is, what helps me, and maybe how I can help you. Hi, I'm Tara Swigert, and I help creative business owners overcome burnout to create more productively and joyfully. I have had a creative business and I have been helping other creative business owners for over a decade. So I have seen the ways in which we think time management will save us, and it will not. Over the last few weeks, I've been interviewing different creative business owners in order to get feedback and create a more awesome program, which I'll tell you a bit about in just a minute. And in those interviews, when I ask women about their burnout, whenever I ask them, what solution have you looked for or what solution have you tried, almost invariably, they tell me that what they've Googled is time management. Now, do you hear that? The problem is burnout, but the solution that we look for is time management. It might be that they just Googled time management skills or a new planner or just some way of being better at managing the time that we have. The problem is, it's not how you manage your time, it's how you feel. If you feel overwhelmed, having a better schedule won't help. If you feel burnt out, and you feel like you can't actually do anything, a new planner won't change that. Your problem is not time management, your problem is burnout. So the solution isn't better time management, the solution is healing your burnout. So, time management advice won't work if you feel like you truly can't do anything, which is one of the definitions of burnout. And it's one of the ways that people most tell me that it shows up for them is they feel like they just can't do what they need and want to do. And having a stricter schedule or a new planner won't work if the tasks in your schedule or on your planner feel absolutely impossible. So, if time management won't work, what will? Now, what will help is giving yourself permission, self compassion, and accountability. And this isn't just my opinion or what's worked for me, although it absolutely has. It is also backed by studies and research. So, first, let's talk about self compassion. Studies show that you are more likely to get stuff done when you approach it with self compassion and kindness than when you try to beat yourself up or guilt yourself into doing it, or you use shame to make yourself feel bad so that you'll do the things you want to do. That just doesn't work. So what is self-compassion? Self-compassion is speaking to yourself kindly and gently. It's giving yourself a break. It's treating yourself like you would treat a small, overwhelmed child. And if you have a hard time with self-compassion when it comes to what you should be doing, it might be because you have tied productivity with self-worth. But productivity has no inherent value. You are not a better person if you're more productive. Your value is not tied to your productivity. I'm going to say this in a bunch of different ways that it will help you understand. So you really remember whether you're productive today or not does not determine if you deserve love and compassion and kindness. You are still worthy of love and affection, whether you're productive or not. Most of you agree with me. Most of you believe that deep in your heart, and yet you treat yourself differently. You treat yourself kinder or not based on how productive you've been, or if you haven't been, then you beat yourself up. So, self compassion is the first thing. The thing that underlies all overcoming burnout is self compassion. What also helps, part of self compassion, is giving yourself permission to work on what is flowing, on what does feel good, will lead inevitably to some productivity with what you need to do. But I know when you feel like you have something you absolutely have to do, you can't think about what is the thing I could do that would be slightly easier, that would ease me into it. The last thing you want to do is go easy on yourself. You want to go hard, you want to do it, you want to just make yourself buckle down. But if that's not working, then that's not going to work. So try something else. By giving yourself permission to work on something else, maybe something tangentially related, you can get up the energy and the flow to work on the thing that feels hard. It's much easier to go into doing something that feels hard when you get in the flow of something that feels a little easier. One example from one of my creative companions, which I'll tell you about in a minute, is she was having a hard time dyeing and she has a yarn dyeing business. So she actually played around with some natural dyes, something that is not directly tied to what she's going to sell. But by playing around with natural dyes, she kind of got herself in the flow of dying. And it's actually how I wrote this podcast episode. So this was on my to-do list for 3 different days, but I didn't make any progress. That's actually why the podcast came out a little bit late. It's because I just could not make progress on it. Then on one of our co-working days, I told my co-working companions, this is what I'm going to work on. And a side note here, my co-working companions is a program I created to run over the summer. It's almost over now, and we just co-work together every day, every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So I told my co-working companions, this is what I'm going to work on. But then I opened up the document and my mind was totally blank. I had to give myself permission to work on something else to ease into this. So I just worked on my podcast schedule. I generated a bunch of new ideas for the podcast and I figured out what I'm going to work on next. And then I was able to actually write part of one podcast and then come back into this one and finish this one up. And that helped me write it. So that brings us to the final thing that is going to help more than getting a new planner, and that is accountability. And I don't mean an accountability coach that's going to yell at you if you don't do what you say you're going to do. I don't mean someone who's keeping track of, did you do X, Y, and Z? I just mean the accountability of working together alongside people who are also working on their projects and knowing you're not going it alone. So the absolute best thing I did this summer for myself, for my business, for my creativity was creating the Creative Companion co-working sessions. So I met with the same handful of women every Wednesday at 10 a.m. and we each said what we're going to work on, and then we just got down to work and we did it in 25-minute increments. And then we just checked in with each other as we went. It is the reason this podcast exists, why I was able to bring it back and record episodes and write episodes. It's the reason why I have a new program, is because I worked on it little bit by little bit every Wednesday for a couple hours. Most weeks, my only time to work on creative projects, on writing anything, was during the Creative Companion sessions. The 2 hours on Wednesday in 25-minute increments, checking with friends in between. It's really the only way I've been able to do this, which is why I've included co-working sessions in my new program. At first, I was working on what I was going to teach and what we're going to talk about, and then I realized that accountability is such a big part, and co-working has been such a joy in my life this summer that it absolutely had to be in the program. And not only can you come and work on your work if you don't have other times to do that, but you can also set aside time for your creative practices, for the things that bring you joy and help you feel like yourself again, the things that help you get in that state of flow so you can work on your work. Actually thinking of calling them co-creating sessions, because it's not just that we're working, but it's that we're doing creative projects and setting aside the time just for that, which for some of us is the only time we have in our week that we get to work on creative projects. So if you would like to co-work along with me and learn how to apply self-compassion and permission, you can apply to join my new program. The link is going to be in the description below. Just fill out the application and I'll get back to you in a couple days. It's going to include co-working, self-compassion, giving yourself permission, and so much more. It starts September 6th, so make sure you check that out now. So I hope this has helped you rethink looking for time management. If you're Googling time management, you came across this video or podcast episode, I hope it helped you think about where you can give yourself permission, where you can talk more kindly to yourself, where you can find more accountability and other people who will talk kindly towards you. And I hope you remember that your productivity is not your self-worth. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like more videos on time management and how to use your time and productivity, check out this playlist here. Hopefully I gestured to the right side. Thank you so much and have an enthusiastic day. No, not, I just mean. uh, just cut all that out.